Boy, if y'all don't stop, you got people writing articles about PlayStation not making a damn bit of sense. Talking about PlayStation doesn't sell because of its hardware, even though it sold more PlayStation 2s because of a DVD feature, which is part of the hardware. The PS3, which had a Blu-ray player and didn't sell just because of the price, not the hardware. The hardware was actually the most powerful of its generation. During that generation, it was over. It was outsold for majority of the entire generation by the two weaker consoles. Let that sink in. Due to price and due to the amount of power the PS3 had, the hardware held it back from sales because developers couldn't work with it. So it scared them off, which is why the PS3 version of the game is a little bit different. With a lot of these AAA big budget titles on PS3, it's different. It's better on the 360. There's a reason for that because the hardware was too much for developers to work with. It's also why the Xbox and Nintendo Wii hold double, if not triple, the amount of games, both digitally and physically. So you can't sit there and say shit like it's the hardware. It's not the hardware, it's the video games. It's not the hardware, it's the video games. The hardware is also what helped sell it for the PS4. So obviously you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Because the PS4, when it first came out, was the strongest console of its generation. It wasn't until 2016, when PlayStation 4 Pro came out, that Xbox was like, we got a machine that's going to be better. And the Xbox One came out, taking the crown of strongest console, which is hardware. So, PlayStation, for the past 3 generations, when it came to their home consoles, has been about the hardware, not so much the software. It is very ironic, though, that developers wanted to work with Sony when they had the weakest console on the PS2. Not so much the strongest system with the PS3, and with the PS4, it's not like they had a hell of a lot of options, because nobody was checking for the Wii U. And the Xbox One had scared off everybody. So it's not like the developers had a hell of a lot of choice to go with here. So before you sit there and say some ignorant shit like that, realize the facts that the beginning of this generation, the PS4 was the strongest console. They didn't know if that was going to help or do the same thing the PS3 did. But luckily they came in at a cost that was decent. Just imagine had the PS4 come out at a $600 price tag, while the Xbox One bombed the way it did with a $500 price tag. The game would be different. I also believe the game would be a hell of a lot different if in 2013 we got that Xbox One S instead of that Xbox One VCR. I fully believe that too. PlayStation wouldn't be over 100 million sales. Maybe they would. But it would be neck and neck that PlayStation and Xbox would be duking it out if we would have got the Xbox One Slim and not the Xbox One VCR. All that extracurricular shit like the DRMs and the always online shit wouldn't have mattered as much if the system hadn't been ugly as hell. I'm just saying. But people are freaking out because of a patent that passed. They're thinking it's going to be like the second coming of the Vita, that there's going to be a Vita 2. PlayStation has no business in the handheld market. They've already proved that both Sony, PlayStation, and Sony as a company just they don't understand the handheld market. It flourished in Japan, but it failed miserably in the States and everywhere else, and they don't understand why. Well, Japan is home to Sony. Not here in the States, not in Europe, where they closed the Europe down anyway. But here in the States, when Nintendo says you can go and buy any size memory unit at a Walmart And Sony, you come out and you're not only using proprietary, you're not only using out of date proprietary cards, you're making them the more expensive, definitely turning off consumers. Sony, you have no reason to go into the handheld market. I love the PS Vita. I love the PSP. Need to get another PSP, but I love both those systems. I love both the handhelds. I have a decent collection of Vita games. When I had a PSP, I actually had a decent amount of games on there too. Sony, the reason your handhelds fell is because of words like proprietary. The reason your handhelds fell is because you're overpriced. No other reason. You are overpriced and you are using proprietary and you are ripping off customers. And guess what? Here in the States, nobody likes to feel as if one of y'all are, ripping us off. None of us. And the PS Vita proves it. It proves without a shadow of a doubt, Sony, you can make a very good handheld. But your price points can be what makes it not sell. If your PS Vita right now was 100 flat and came with a 16 gig proprietary memory card, it'd be the hottest thing on the market right now. 16 gigs plus the system at $100? As long as you don't do all digital, you got a lot of memory there. So that's the problem, Sony. It's the same reason that damn PSP Go failed. It's the same reason the Xbox One SAD failed. Because you and Xbox made the same stupid mistake. You made an all-digital console, which is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. But where you gimped it was where it matters most. The memory. The PS4. I've said this before. When it first came out, Sony, you had the same fucking problem. You gave it the least amount of memory you could, which was the 500 gigs. I guarantee you ran tests to find out if we come out with anything under 500 gigs, no one's going to buy this thing. But if we come out with 500 gigs, people will buy it. As long as it's not the same cost as an Xbox. Which I guarantee you was a kick to the ass. Because you probably had everyone telling you if you price this too high with 500 gigs, you might as well not come out with it. I guarantee you that. I don't want to see you launch the PS5 with a terabyte. I don't. Nobody does. Let's just be real. Nobody wants to see the PS5 with a single terabyte of memory. Now with games being over 100 gigs of installation off the rip. Nobody wants that. And I guarantee you, PlayStation, I don't care if you have the most powerful console. I don't care if you have the weakest console. If you come out with a console like the PS3 where it is severely overpowered and overpriced, and you try to use proprietary anything and that bitch is overpriced, no one, and I mean no one, is going to buy your fucking PS5. Your piece of shit 5. No one's going to buy it. Because Xbox is honestly a budget-friendly gaming console. Nintendo Switch, obviously a budget-friendly gaming console. And I know what you're thinking, how do you figure that? Well, Nintendo, the entry price is $200 for the Switch if you get the Lite, $300 if you get the non-Lite, the original. If you get the original bad boy with the dock, it's $300. And for the online itself, is $20. That's $320, and out the gate at $320, you get a whole fuck ton of not PS2, but a whole fuck ton of Nintendo originals. Plus, you get a fuck ton of Super Nintendo original games, including Mario World, A Link to the Past, Super Metroid, games that really built the Super Nintendo. Or you identify with the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo. You also get those games on the original Nintendo as well. Sorry, I just woke up. And from that knowledge, from that alone, PlayStation, you really need to figure out what's going on within your own camp and why your own fucking consoles are having the problem they are. This is the first generation that actually outsold 2 generations before it. being the PS1 and the PS3. Now, I've said this before in another video called "If you do this, you win the holidays." PlayStation, if you drop to $150, even with that 1 TB, if you drop to $150 for this PS4 for the holidays, you're gonna pass. You're gonna come as close to the PS2 sales as you can with a Blu-ray player in it and without the 4K Blu-ray player in the Pro. I'm telling you. If you do this, you win not only the holidays, but you pretty much win the entire generation without trying. Because until your PS5 comes out, it's still up to anybody and it's anyone's ball game, because the holidays are where a lot of sales happen. And I believe PlayStation, the fact that we know that in a year's time the PS5 will be out, you really need to duck the price here. You really need to, because why buy a PS4 when the PS5 is right around the corner? Why buy a PS4 if you could play PS Now on your phone? Why buy a PS4 if you can stream PS Now to your television? See what I'm saying? There's all these why factors that come with buying a PS4 today. It's 2019. Create some reason, create some rhyme here, because a PlayStation 4 with a copy of Fortnite isn't going to cut it. Everybody has Fortnite on their phone, on their PlayStation, Xbox, Switch. For Christ's sakes, I have it on my Xbox, my Switch. If I had a tablet, I'd probably have it on the tablet. I'd have it on my phone if it ran good. But my phone won't run it properly. So, I'm just saying, copy of Fortnite and a new PS4 isn't going to cut it. But cutting that price tag down to $150 with a terabyte, copy of Fortnite, maybe a month subscription to Gold or Plus, and then a month subscription on top of that to Now at a $150 entry rate. Who isn't buying that? I gotta get my PS4 fixed. So at $150, I'd rather just go ahead and pay the extra little bit to get the brand new one out the box and keep the one I have as a brick, because it's already going to cost me about $100 to get my PS4 fixed. So at $150, I'm giving you, Sony, the money, not some repair shop. See what I'm saying? That's how you need to look at this thing. You need to look at this going in like, can we get somebody who already has a PS4 to buy another PS4? How do we get him to do that? I just told you, $150. $150, you get a brand new PS4. You get a game like Fortnite, which is free. Month subscription to Gold or Plus. I keep forgetting Plus is not Gold because they're the same fucking service. Here's another reason why I prefer Nintendo over Sony. For $20 a year, you get their online service. $20 a year. And you get their good games from back in the day. Sony, you pay $60 and it's up to them to give you some quality. Plus, their shit goes down like clockwork. There's no reason to pay $60. If they shit was $20, they'd have more subscribers. Not only that, the games they offer would look more tempting. But for $60 a month, or $60 a year, for $60 a year, those games don't look that good. Those games look like trash 9 out of 10 times. I get Noah is supposed to be a good game. I get that. I'm not saying anything about that game. I'm not talking trash on that game. I'm just saying, why wait, Sony, until that game's value is down to $20? Why not give that game away when it's worth like $40? Make your online service seem like there's some actual value here. And being that I don't need PlayStation Plus to play Fortnite, it kind of takes away from the appeal of it. I don't need it on Nintendo either. I don't need to pay $20 to play Fortnite. See what I'm saying? I need PlayStation to create value around its services. PlayStation Now has a fuck ton of games. So $10 a month, justified. PlayStation Plus, $60 a month. Yet every time I look at the value of the games that they give away on there, it's about $20 a game. That's not that much. And Xbox, I'm not giving you a pass saying that you give away straight up $60 games either, but you do give away a lot of $40 games. I've seen $40 games on there more than I've seen 60, and I've seen 40 on there way more than I've seen 20. So Xbox at least gives you games rated higher than $20 majority of the time. That's why they have value. That's why they're better. Is because games like Noah are great. Taking nothing away from that. I'm taking nothing away from the fact that it's a good game. I don't know. I haven't played it. But I'm not going to call it a bad game. Because that would not make any sense. I haven't played it. Why would I say it's a bad game? I've played games like God of War. I've played games like Uncharted. These games I could say are terrible games. The Lost Legacy is. 4 is not. But I don't like companion games. I want to be the only player on the screen unless it's a multiplayer game because the AI in companion games is completely useless. Alright? So, saying that, okay, I also don't really care for Bloodborne, but I'm not into the Dark Souls series, and I believe Bloodborne should have had a sequel already if it was going to be a continued franchise. But it didn't get a sequel. We have Dark Souls, which has 3 games, a more established franchise, and the fact that we knew this was basically Dark Souls with a different skin kind of held that back. And being that it's from Software, if it was going to have a sequel, shouldn't it have already been out? I mean, Knack has 2 games out, and it was out at the same time. So, looking at it from that aspect alone, okay, I'm just saying, Noah is a good game, but they gave away Bloodborne when it was $20. They gave away Noah after it dropped to $20. They gave away Resident Evil 1, which when it came out on the PlayStation was $20, children. They don't give a game away if it makes them a little bit more money than $20. They just don't care if it's a $20 game. I don't give a fuck what the value of the game is. But if I'm paying you $60 a year and you're promising your games to have value, maybe don't show the fucking cost of the damn game. Because I'm going to go and I'm going to compare them between PlayStation and Xbox. Because I want to know who's got the better value. I want to know who I should invest more money into. Who should I invest more time into? And if I'm being honest and I'm going through the games, whether the game is good or bad, with Xbox, there's just more value for $60. You get 4 titles instead of 2. You get 4. PlayStation, you used to be where value lived because you would get up to 18 titles a month. Because 2 for PlayStation 3, 2 for the Vita, plus the 2 for the 4. That is 6 games. How would you get 18, you're asking? Well, simple. What if one of those games was playable on the Vita and PS4? Well, you would get those copies as well when you downloaded them. So you had 3 copies of the same one game. 3 times 6 is 18. So at $60, you're getting 6 titles, possibly 3 different times on 3 different machines, 3 different versions of that same one game. You found the value. PlayStation, you took away 4 of those titles, which equals out to just 2 games now instead of upwards to 18. And when your competition offers 4, your 2 just look incompetent. Just saying. Xbox is giving away a Star Wars game. I think they gave away one last month, and it was a value of $10. But it's an OG, triple OG original Xbox game. If they charged any more than $10, nobody would buy it. But they give it away as well. Now, I'm pretty sure I own it because I own a whole bunch of original OG, triple OG Xbox games. But my point is this: in order for them to give you a game that's valued under $20, it has to be on the original OG, triple OG Xbox. PlayStation. Nintendo's online service is $40 cheaper than yours. The games they give you for the year, a lot of them are better than the ones you offer. A lot of them are. I would much rather play a Super Nintendo game than another Resident Evil re-release. I would much rather play a Super Nintendo game than having the knowledge that Noah is $20 and you gave it away at $20. I could take that $20 and I could just give it to the developers rather than give it to you. I can take that $20, give it to Nintendo, and get like upwards of 80 fucking games for free for the year. And no, they're not going to change, but it's 80 fucking games. There's like 40 for the Super Nintendo. No, there's like 20 for the Super Nintendo. There's like 40 plus for the fucking regular Nintendo. There's a lot of content there. Granted, it's not going to look the best, but we all know these games are entertaining. We have no second guess. There's no chances in which, you know, even if you do own them, it's not like, oh, you're not going to play them on the Switch, because if you have the Switch with you, it's in your hands. So, I mean, we have to look at this. We have to look at this, and we have to look at it rationally. Okay? PlayStation, going into the PS5, you need to be a budget-friendly company. Please be a budget-friendly company. If you're not, I can't guarantee the success. I don't know what you're going to do. I know you want the PS4 crew to jump over to the PS5 fast, but if we're being honest, it's going to be a challenge. You got to have it priced right. You got to have the right memory in it. These are things, Sony, you have not been good at. The Vita failed because of memory. The PS3 failed because it was too fucking powerful and overpriced for the longest time. Just saying. PlayStation, your strong suit in making sure people jump from the 4 to 5 are your weakest qualities. Having the right amount of memory. You haven't had this entire generation. Price point. You've had that this generation. Price point, you came in under a bunch of people. But once that Switch came out, once that Xbox One Slim came out, it was game over. Because even though you sold 100 plus million units, you were winning the month in, month out, back to back to back to back to back. All the way up till 2016 when you started losing months. Because Xbox not only came out with a very good price point for the Xbox One Slim, the Xbox One Slim was also a sexier look, a more consumer-friendly look, as it could stand vertically. It came with a stand. PlayStation, you don't, making it a better buy. It also came with a terabyte standard, none of that 500 garbage. I mean, there might be some, but I haven't really seen any. The ones I always see are about a terabyte. And then, what else do you have? Game Pass. Game Pass came in at half the cost of a PlayStation Now for the month. Xbox has Game Pass Now combined with Gold. Still coming in $5 cheaper than PlayStation Now. Well, it was. Even with Gold being attached to it when PlayStation Now was $20, the fucking Gold and the fucking Game Pass came in at $15, making it a better buy. Because you got the 4 free games plus 100 plus games with Game Pass, making the value look incredible. Whereas with Sony, was $20 alone for the fucking Now. It's now 10, and if they did the combination of Plus and Now, if they called it Plus Now, stupid idea, but I could see them doing it. If they did that, PlayStation would see a rise in subscriptions. And if they made the system affordable and a budget-friendly, conscientious machine, which kind of was at the beginning of this generation, coming in at $100 cheaper than the Xbox One, they'd be unstoppable. Literally, they would just have to compete with Nintendo's actual software. If PlayStation came in and competed on a budget-friendly console, because Nintendo and Xbox are the most budget-conscious places you could play. Nintendo offers all the same fucking indie developed titles as PlayStation. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. How is it Nintendo PlayStation's better than PlayStation? Because all those games that, built PlayStation are available on Nintendo and Xbox as well. Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, 3, CTR, Spyro 1, 2, 3, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 2. All these games that help build PlayStation are on the Nintendo Switch and Xbox One. And with Nintendo being a more budget friendly console, and with Xbox being a more budget friendly console, I will continue to say, how is it Xbox and Nintendo out PlayStation's PlayStation? It's simple. Price. It's always been price. Price. And proprietary. Price and proprietary are what make Nintendo and Xbox stand out among PlayStation, because Xbox is a budget friendly console. Nintendo Switch is a budget friendly console. It came in at $100 less than the PS4 at launch. Not only that, it also allows you to upgrade with expandable memory easier than the PlayStation did at its launch. In fact, it didn't allow for technical expanding of the memory until 2016 with a hard drive, which you could plug in, something the Xbox had been doing for a couple of years now. And also, if you wanted to expand the memory beyond 500 gigs, you had to physically go out and do all the work your fucking self, because it was too much of a hassle for PlayStation up until 2016 to even try. Just saying. Just saying. Yes, I know they had a failure of a system at a 1 terabyte. That was the Black Ops 3, which made me laugh beyond all hell, because a game like Black Ops, a game like Call of Duty, should not have been the game of choice for the 1 terabyte PS4 that was just trash, because it was a trash system with a trash ass game. That's why it's funny. I'm not saying Black Ops 3 is a trash game. I'm just saying Black Ops as a whole is trash. So wrap your mind around that. PlayStation, do not come out with a Vita 2. Do not come out with another handheld. You have burned every bridge you have to the handheld market. Now just die away with conventional consoles the way it's intended for you to go, because you're going to have to do a lot of dick sucking and a lot of ball licking to get anyone to buy a new PlayStation portable device. You burned every bridge you had, every one of them, and you made the same mistakes from one to the next. You have no reason for any of you to think PlayStation can launch a successful handheld. Remember, us handheld consumers are not really their customers. We don't buy handhelds. Remember that.